This week, Government and House of Representatives to pass Omnibus Bill to law. Collaborates with Indian company Indopharma to provide remdesivir stock. Good afternoon, viewers in Indonesia and Singapore. Market Headlines is ready to provide you a number of information from the business, economic, and capital market sectors. With me, Fajar Wayong, this is Market Headlines. Yes, viewers, the government is pinning its hopes on foreign investment and state spending to improve economic growth next year, following the expected deliberation of the Omnibus Bill on job creation this week.
The government is pinning its hopes on foreign investment and state spending to improve economic growth next year, following the expected deliberations of the Omnibus Bill on job creation this week. The Finance Ministry's Fiscal Policy Agency head, Febrio Kacaribu, said that economic reforms through the bill, the creations of a sovereign wealth fund and the government's investment were expected to help support the economy in 2021. The House of Representatives and the government have agreed to pass into law the controversial Omnibus Bill on job creations in the next plenary session on October 8, 2020, despite mounting oppositions from members of the public, particularly labor groups in recent months, amid concerns over its impact on labor rights and the environment, among others. The bill is expected by the government to improve bureaucratic efficiency and cut unnecessary red tape, particularly in regard to business permits and investment. The bill is seen as necessary by the government as the country's economy shrank by 5.32% in the second quarter this year and is widely expected to record the first economic contractions since the 1998 Asian financial crisis this year. Meanwhile, Investment Coordinating Board's data shows foreign direct investment or FDI realizations fell 6.9% year-on-year to 97.6 trillion rupiah or $6.5 billion in the second quarter as the global economy cooled due to the COVID-19 outbreak. From all sources for IDX Channel.
The government has temporarily lowered the electricity tariff for low-voltage customers as a stimulus for people reeling from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. The government has temporarily lowered the electricity tariff for low-voltage customers of the state-owned electricity company to serve as a stimulus for people reeling from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. The electricity tariff will be reduced by 22.5 rupiah per kilowatt hour to 1,444.7 per kilowatt hour for 7 groups of low voltage customers from October to December, according to the Energy and Mineral Resources Ministry. The ministry's spokesperson Agung Pribadi noted in a statement that the tariff reduction is in accordance with the Directive of Energy and Mineral Resources to PLN's President Director pertaining to the electricity tariff adjustment. The lower rate applies to all homes above the 900-volt ampere category, businesses between the 6,600-volt ampere and 200 kilovolt ampere category, and government offices. Pribadi remarked that the decision to cut the rate was taken to help people affected by the pandemic, while concomitantly boosting the nation's economy. From all sources for IDX Channel. The Indonesian E-commerce Association is optimistic that the number of digital transactions throughout 2020 can increase by 50% compared to the previous year, which is supported by an increase in the number of business actors who go digital. The increase of digital transactions turned out to have an impact on increasing the number of people who registered as sellers in e-commerce or the marketplace during the COVID-19 pandemic. Indonesian E-commerce Association or IDEA recorded more than 2 million additional SMEs registering on the marketplace since the program Bangga Buatan Indonesia. This figure is believed by the association to continue to grow until the end of the year, even though the recession is haunting Indonesia. But with an easy program to access the marketplace, it is believed to increase people's purchasing power. One of the things that is done to increase people's purchasing power and also the power participation of SMEs to go digital is the Harbolnas program, or National Online Shopping Day. If the increase in digital transaction increases sharply on National Online Shopping Days, this will certainly provoke growth. Indonesia's economy is better off amid a recession due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Kan biasanya kita di akhir tahun ada Harbolnas ya Mas ya, itu di bulan Desember. Mudah-mudahan dengan Harbolnas itu bisa juga mendorong peningkatan belanja bagi para anggota player-player ide ya Mas.
Even though the pandemic is currently hitting, but IDEA believes the target of digital transactions in the marketplace during the National Online Shopping Day will be higher than last year, and cumulatively until the end of the year, it is expected that digital transactions in 2020 can increase by 50% compared to 2019. From Jakarta, Muhammad Olga for IDX Channel. Market headlines will be right back. Stay tuned.
Market hari ini sudah dibuka dan menghijau begitu. Anda ada di zona positif, akankah ini terus berlanjut?
Saya masih mencermati untuk saham-saham ini ya, tambangan, saham alam putra nih ya, asli kan kemarin belum naik, ini potensi naik.
Nama saya Devisa Novel, jabatan saat ini di IDX Channel adalah sebagai produser dan sekaligus presenter program yang dibawakan saat ini dengan nama IDX Second Session Closing, terkait juga dengan kondisi capital market Indonesia dan perkembangannya dari waktu ke waktu. Dan saya sangat senang untuk belajar dan berkecimpung di berita ekonomi, khususnya di capital market. Bagaimana outlook UMKM di 2020 ini, Pak Leona?
Saya ingin mengajak terutama anak-anak muda, bagaimana caranya supaya nantinya ini bisa berkooperasi dengan baik. Dan ini sudah dimulai.
Presiden Joko Widodo mendukung penuh langkah Badan Pemeriksa Keuangan untuk mengaudit anggaran penanganan COVID-19.
Saya tegaskan untuk menyamakan frekuensi bahwa kita memang dalam kondisi krisis.
PT Raja Wali Nusantara Indonesia terus melakukan sinergi.
Kami mendapat amanah untuk menjadikan pangan ini tidak menjadi satu isu lagi.
Welcome back on Market Headlines. Global markets rattled by U.S. President Donald Trump's positive COVID-19 test just weeks before the election. In-depth economic observers say this news blew economic uncertainty because the one that was caught by coronavirus was a superpower country leader.
Economic uncertainty is in the front of our eyes. News regarding U.S. President Donald Trump's positive COVID-19 test has impacted greater effect on the economy. When it comes to currency, rupiah weakened after the news came out. Economic observer from IndiHome, Bima Yudhistira, said that the US dollar was immediately chased by investors because it was considered as safe asset. The rush to the dollar caused the rupiah to weaken by more than 15,000. The risk of mood sparked on a broad-based decline. Investors also avoid stock market because of the high risk. News about Trump's positive COVID-19 jacked up global market volatility, including Jakarta Composite Index. After the news, JCI went down almost 1% to the level of 4,927. From all sources, IDX Channel.
Yes, viewers, news regarding COVID-19 always be strong sentiment for capital market. So as news regarding any Donald Trump's decision that is well known as Trump effect in our society. So can you imagine what will happen if there is news related to Donald Trump and COVID-19 at the same time? Worst combo ever. And in this case, President Donald Trump announced that he and the First Lady had tested positive for coronavirus just weeks ahead of the U.S. presidential election. When the news came out, market turned volatile and global economy rushed out. But before we go further about the economic impact, first, I'm going to tell you how the superpower leader got caught coronavirus, and let's begin today's graphic with the timeline. So in the first graphic, you can see the timeline of Donald Trump's positive COVID-19 case. That on Tuesday, September 29th, Donald Trump attended presidential debate. Trump wasn't tested before debating because he was late. And then Thursday, October 1st, Hope Hicks, Trump's communication director, reported COVID-19 positive. And Sunday, October 4th, Trump was at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center with mild symptoms. And then on Friday, 2nd October, Donald Trump and Melania Trump tested positive for COVID-19. So the cluster came from Hope Hicks, Trump's communication director, that reported positive for COVID-19 test. And yes, viewers, we cannot deny the magic of Trump effect. Global stock markets and oil slid on Friday after U.S. President Donald Trump tweeted he and his wife had tested positive for coronavirus, sparking a rush to safe haven assets and a jump in overall volatility. See, there is strong causal relationship between Trump and the global economy. As our team has highlighted some of the heaviest volatilities, here I would like to share it with you through the next graphic. So on the second graphic, we can see that the rush after Trump tests positive for COVID-19. The first one from the U.S. stock market, while Dow Jones Industrial Average minus 0.08%, S&P 500 minus 0.61%, and the technology stock index, Nasdaq Composite, minus 1.99%. Meanwhile, in the European stock market, FTSE 100, the DAX and the CAC 40 all down between 0.9 up to 1%. While from the safe haven assets, we can see the US dollar plus 0.1% and yen Japan plus 0.15%. And from the commodity, we can see that oil suffered the heaviest blow, sliding by more than 4%. So this is some of the impact after Trump tests positive for COVID-19. And viewers, Asian market also got major impact. Jakarta Composite Index went down 0.87%, while Japan's benchmark Nikkei stock average declined to 133 points, and other major regional stock markets also declined, while Singapore's Straits Times Index and Thailand's SAT Index both fell around 1%. Economic from InDev stated that this news emerged huge economic uncertainty. Lack of certainty could be just as damaging economically. When faced with uncertainty, consumers usually spend less and save more. Companies cut back on production, investment, and hiring. Financial market is become more volatile and increasingly difficult to trade. And President Donald Trump is the latest member to join an expanding list of world leaders diagnosed with the coronavirus. Through the next graphic, we can see other world leaders who caught by coronavirus or COVID-19. So on the third graphic, we can see the first and the latest U.S. President Donald Trump, and then the UK Prime Minister in the earlier, Boris Johnson, also positive COVID-19. And then Jair Bolsonaro, President of Brazil, Jeanine Áñez, Interim President of Bolivia, Mikhail Mishustin, Russia Prime Minister, Juan Orlando, Honduras President, and then Nicole Pashinyan, Armenia Prime Minister, and Alejandro Giammattei, Guatemala President. So this is the world leaders who caught coronavirus or COVID-19. And at 74, the U.S. President is the oldest head of state to become positive from the COVID-19 or coronavirus, of course, infected by the COVID. And his age puts him at high risk of serious complications from the novel virus. But luckily, spokesperson of White House says that Trump is fine and only shows mild symptoms. And however, some leaders have been gravely ill, including Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who was hospitalized for a week with the illness. Others, like Mr. Bolsonaro, appear to have had only mild cases. The worst case goes in Nigeria. A top A2 president, Muhammadu Buhari, died of the coronavirus in April, and of course, deep condolences for him. And speaking domestically, we are thankful that our president haven't contracted the virus, but there are ministers that have tested positive for COVID-19. Who are those? Let's see it through the next graphic. And from the fourth graphic, Indonesian ministers who have tested positive for COVID-19. The first one, and it was shocking news after all, Budi Karya Sumadi, Minister of Transportation. And then Edi Prabowo, Minister of Marine Affairs and Fisheries. And then Fahrul Razi, Minister of Religious Affairs of Republic of Indonesia. And throwback in March, Transportation Minister Budi Karya Sumadi was treated at Gatot Subroto Central Regional Hospital in Jakarta for COVID-19, while Maritime Affairs and Fisheries Minister Edi Prabowo was also admitted to the ICU at the same hospital after contracting the virus. Earlier this month, both ministers have made full recoveries. And the latest one went for Religious Affairs Minister Fahrul Razi, who has tested positive for COVID-19. And now he's recovering in isolation. And thankfully, he is in good condition and has shown no worrying system. And viewers, despite the economic consequences, the real enemy is the virus that attack our health. Good health is not something we can buy. However, it can be an extremely valuable savings account. The coronavirus has spread around the globe, and many world leaders have contracted coronavirus, so please take health protocols seriously and stay safe. And viewers, stay tuned. We will be right back after this quick break.
Sebetulnya industri hilir itu lokal itu udah siap. Jadi pemerintah juga nggak perlu lagi menarik investor untuk industri hilir. Jadi pemerintah cukup menarik investor untuk industri bahan baku.
Pergerakan indeks harga saham gabungan sepanjang perdagangan hari ini tertekan, level 5 ribuan kembali ditinggalkan. Bagaimana analisis Anda?
Masih ada peluang turun lebih lanjut. Kalau misalkan regionalnya memerah, nah maka tidak tentu kemungkinan kita juga akan ketularan kan.
Dan beberapa perbankan yang diduga melakukan transaksi mencurigakan dan semoga bisa menjadi salah satu referensi untuk Anda dan seperti apa ke depannya. Senang sekali saya David San Oval dan dapat hadir menemani Anda dalam program spesial dialog webinar on TV.
Setiap minggunya kita akan membahas tema-tema yang sangat menarik. Apa kabar ibu-ibu sekalian?
Alhamdulillah baik.
Salah satu ambisi daripada Kementerian Koperasi dan UMKM bersama Smesco adalah koperasi keren, baru, digital gitu kan, yang kita bisa IT.
Welcome back on Market Headlines. At the Jakarta Composite Index intraday movement earlier today, JCI was open at the level of 4,929.41 and then approaching the closing time on the first session. The index was on the level of 4,940.76 and then the index was showing strengthening trend by the second session closing time. The index was closed at the level of 4,958.76 and in short, JCI went up 0.65%. And next, we're going to see the sectoral movement. Leading the dynamics of today's trading, we got finance as the leader of weakening trend that went down 5.94%. Miscellaneous industry went down 5.9%. Trade went down 3.4%. And construction went down 2.63%. And moving on to the top gainers and top losers, here are the key highlights from today's trading session. BBRI went up 1.94% to the level of 3,160 per share. BRIS went up 8.39% to the level of 840 per share. BMRI went up 2.88% to the level of 5,350, and BBNI went up 2.44% to the level of 4,620 per share. Meantime, the top losers for today's trading, we got Telkom went down 1.12% to the level of 2,650 rupiah. PURE went down 6.49% to the level of 346 rupiah per share. Tower went down 0.96% to the level of 1,035, and Tebik went down 1.12% to the level of 1,330 rupiah per share. And next, we're going to see the intraday movement of rupiah towards US dollar. So rupiah opened at the level of 14,824. Rupiah was also showing strengthening trend towards US dollar and was closed at the level of 14,825. And in summary, rupiah went up 0.12%. The SOE ministry stated that the government will inject to Jiwasraya as much as 20 trillion rupiah to help restore the insurance policy.
The SOE ministry ensures that the legal process against alleged corruption at Asuransi Jiwasraya continues. However, even though the legal process is still ongoing, plans to inject capital into Bahana Pembinaan Usaha Indonesia worth 22 trillion rupiah will still be carried out. The special staff of the Minister of SOE, Arya Sinulinga, said that capital injections through state investment was carried out as an effort to restore the insurance policy, as well as a firm of shareholders' responsibility for 2.63 million customers, 90% of whom were pension policy holders and the lower middle class.
Itu 90% nasabah itu adalah 90 berapa ya? Lebih ya? 90-an lebih? Lebih. Itu adalah 90 berapa Pak Hek sana?
Iya, lebih dari 90% Pak.
Lebih 90%. Itu adalah pensiunan dan orang yang nasabah yang tua.
Ya.
Itu guru sebagian besar gitu. Apakah negara tidak ikut bertanggung jawab terhadap itu gitu? Kita harus bertanggung jawab. Makanya bail-in dilakukan. Tapi sisi lain yang melakukan fraud diproses hukum. Kecuali tadi nggak ada proses hukum, itu boleh dipertanyakan. Ini kan proses hukum berjalan. Jadi satu sisi proses hukum berjalan, sisi lain ini menyangkut kredibilitas kita sebagai pemegang saham. Mau nggak mau kita harus bertanggung jawab gitu.
Arya ensures rescuing this insurance policy can provide certainty about the fulfillment of Jiwasraya obligations for policy holders who since 2018 have not received their rights. From Jakarta, Riki Anwardi for IDX Channel.
On pharmaceutical company, Indopharma provides the COVID-19 drug remdesivir of around 400,000 doses or vials for October 2020 stock. President Director of Indopharma, Arif Pramuhanto, say that the SRAM remdesivir injection, 100 milligrams, will be marketed soon by Indopharma. The drug has received Emergency Use Authorization or EUA approval in Indonesia. Arif added that remdesivir is for COVID-19 in patients in moderate to severe conditions. Previously, Indopharma's Finance Director, Heri Triantno, said that the company was collaborating with Milan Laboratories Limited in Bangalore, India, in relation to the procurement of the antiviral drug. The Desram antiviral drug will be distributed by Indopharma Global Medicam, a subsidiary of the company. Moreover, he stated that the working capital issued by the company for the procurement of Desram will match the demand needed. Less than 100 days to end of 2020, Wijaya Karya still holds its optimism to achieve 21 trillion rupiah new contract in 2020.
Listed company Wijaya Karya is still optimistic that this year's new contract target can be achieved. But the fact is a bit far from expectations. Whereas the realizations of the new contracts until August 2020 was recorded at only 4.9 trillion rupiah, while it is 23% of the target of 21 trillion rupiah. Such optimism arises because Wika is participating in tenders with a total value of 20 trillion rupiah, with a project value of at least 2 trillion rupiah. The tender is predicted to be announced in the remaining 3 months of this year. From all sources, IDX Channel.
Yes, viewers, coronavirus pandemic isn't over, plus lockdown happens. Those reasons caused mainly financial problems for Indonesian car company Bluebird Taxi. However, the company recorded that third quarter financial condition showed recovery sign as it went better than second quarter.
2020 may not be the best year for Indonesian's cab company, Bluebird Taxi. Bluebird head of investor relations, Michael Tene, said that although annual revenue was still weakening, he admitted that Bluebird's revenue in the third quarter increased significantly compared to the second quarter. This is in line with the relaxations of large-scale social restrictions. On the other hand, pandemic makes Bluebird finds other way out to keep its financial performance. Bluebird is now developing new businesses in the form of delivery logistics using a taxi fleet. This logistics service business is called as Bird Kirim. From all sources, IDX Channel.
And step aside from market condition as coronavirus pandemic takes big role on current economy condition. Here it is an update data about coronavirus globally. And the graphic close our market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, your trustworthy economic, business, and capital market channel. I'm Fajar Wayong. Have a nice evening.
Untuk informasi lebih lanjut tentang pasar modal syariah, silakan menghubungi nomor telepon 1500655 atau melalui email di konsumen@ojk.go.id.
Tunggu apa lagi?
Ayo berinvestasi di pasar modal syariah.
Berinvestasi yang amanah.